So another day. Today I'm going to speak to you about Gulf news. You remember on my community page, I posted a poll, kind of voting about Gulf news. I asked people how many people still read Gulf news, how many people pay for, Gulf news has some kind of, I don't know, you have to pay. Before it was, give us your email address and then you can log in or you can check the articles. Then it is, do you want exclusive content or some hi-fi exclusive? Okay, there's a paywall. So what I did is I kind of put this poll because honestly speaking, I have when I check Gulf news nowadays, there is nothing. I don't know what is there in Gulf news. I seriously don't know. Now, for those of you who are new, Gulf news was once upon a time the most recognizable brand in UAE. After UAE, after Dubai, the biggest brand name in UAE was Gulf news, even more than Emirates Airlines. Seriously, anyone who came to UAE, he would know these are the first names that would come to his mind, or people would tell him, UAE, of course you're coming to UAE. Dubai, because people say Dubai, you want to come to Dubai. They would recognize UAE as Dubai. And then the next name at the tip of their tongue would be Gulf news. And why Gulf news? Because if you had to search for a job, if you had to read about the news of UAE, if you had to know what is happening. Those days there was channel 33, that was a news channel. There was FM 92. I don't know how many of you remember those days. We're talking of the 70s, 80s, 1970, 1980. So Gulf news was there. FM 92. There was an FM with Richard Coram. He's no more. And then you had, there was an old guy with glasses. I can't get his name, before Richard Coram. He's a very old man. Great, absolutely amazing news presenter. And then you had Gulf news. Man, I tell you something. You couldn't be in UAE and not know Gulf news. Or you could not be in UAE and not buy a Gulf news. I remember those days where these guys, at the signal, these guys used to sell newspapers, newspaper hawkers. It became a banned practice because of the heat. But guys used to stand, the laborers, holding stacks of newspaper, Arabic, English, magazines. But I'll tell you without a doubt, Gulf news was the maximum number of papers. Whenever they would stop, people would straight away say, they would say Gulf news, Khalij Times, Gulf news. Gulf news was so far ahead of any other paper. I think the competition, the gap was almost 70 to 80%. Just imagine, Gulf news was number one. Far, far behind was Khalij Times. And then hardly 1 or 2% was Gulf Today, some paper in Sharjah. Nobody cared a damn. Then obviously, as times changed, Gulf news got better and better. I remember when they did the rebranding from a black and white newspaper to the new color scheme that was orange, the new font scheme. Wow. Me being a long-time resident of UAE, I was so excited. Because, there was so much of love for this brand. I grew up reading Gulf news. I grew up, those, there was Junior News with that coconut character. If you have not been in UAE, you won't know what I'm talking about. It was a small little booklet for children. Even though Khalij Times came with Young Times, with that flower, sunflower character. I think Corky? No, I don't know what is the name of the coconut guy. And then they would have comic strips. Man, I would save money end of every week to buy. It was first 1 dirham, then became 2 dirhams. I would save money to buy that. Oh, those were the glory days. But now, today, if you look at it, Gulf News being from one of the most beloved brands to a paper that we expats identified, it became part of our identity, part of our childhood, part of our lives. You ask anybody who has gone back to India, Pakistan, ask any of the oldies, Gulf News, they will remember fond memories. However, today, with the modernization, with the technological developments, instead of Gulf News becoming a global brand, from a national brand to a Middle East brand, instead of becoming a global brand, I don't know if you can call it a brand also. It's like Gulf News has become from Gulf News to Bluff News or some garbage news. G for Gulf News, G for and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you exactly why. In fact, I had conducted I'd asked people, please send me your comments or emails if, because some people want to keep their information confidential. Share with me, what happened to Gulf News. Like, what is your opinion about Gulf News? To my shock and surprise, quite a number of people send me emails. Maybe they didn't want to be publicly known. And it was pretty shocking. So out of the 30 plus, I think, emails that I received, I'm just reading 2 or 3 emails and the rest of the comments. See, one thing is for a fact, okay, keep this in mind. Once upon a time, there was a certain amount of integrity, certain amount of respect, certain amount of, weightage. If you tell someone, I am an editor, I am a journalist, I'm a reporter, you had to go to school, you have to go to college, you have to learn the art, you have to spend a couple of years to become a journalist, you have to spend a couple of years to become a reporter, you have to spend a couple of years to become an editor. You need to have proficiency in English, you need to be good at your subjects, and there was a training phase where you had to be trained. Today, any Tom, Dick and Harry calls himself an editor. Any Tom, Dick and Harry, oh, I'm a journalist. Any Tom, Dick and Harry, oh, I'm a contributor, I'm a editor. But when you call yourself a journalist, when you call yourself an editor, when you call yourself a reporter, shouldn't you earn that title? Just imagine if someone says, I'm a doctor, I did a crash course online for $17. Now, in fact, there are fake PhDs, fake MBAs. Oh, quick MBA. You can get a fast track MBA, fast track PhD. And this article was written in Gulf News. Fake degrees. I think what Gulf News should have put is, fast track journalism. How to become a fast track journalist, how to become fast track managing editor. Gulf News today is gone. If I would say Gulf News has gone to the dogs, I'm insulting a majestic creature like a dog. It is that bad. And I'll tell you why. So these are the top 10 comments and views. So the first comment. I have not seen any brand go from hero to zero so quickly as Gulf News. Once upon a time, this was a must-go newspaper for me. I used to buy it because the classifieds were so big and there was so much of opportunity, so much of information. Today it's nothing but garbage. In fact, I prefer not signing into Gulf News. So, first one. Same thing with me. Okay. Comment number 2. They got booted by the investors and stakeholders and shareholders. That is why today the Sheikh Zayed office is no longer there. That beautiful monumental building, which was a landmark. Today they have gone to some god-forsaken place in DIP. DIP is what? Dubai Investment Park. In fact, my relative who's there in UAE, she herself told me this, Loy, that Gulf News office is no more. It's gone to some so far area. It's stupid. I've tried to reach out to some people to find out, is it more luxurious or, but the response I got is they are saying it's cheap. That is why they're making it so inconvenient, because now employees have to travel so far. Okay. Has any one of you visited their new posh office in DIP? I remember visiting their Sheikh Zayed Road office. Oh, it was such a pleasure those days. Comment number 3.